The midnight fall. It's 2 a.m. and you hear a thud down the hall. You're up before you're even fully awake, heart going, feet hitting the cold floor, moving toward the sound. And there she is, your mom, on the bathroom floor, looking up at you with that mix of confusion and embarrassment that breaks your heart a little every time. You get her up, you check her over, you settle her back in bed, and you sit on the edge of it for a minute, holding her hand until her breathing steadies. And while you're sitting there in the dark, something quiet moves through you, a thought you don't say out loud. This cannot keep going the way it's going. You go back to bed, but you don't sleep. You lie there running through what-ifs until your alarm goes off, and then you get up and you do the whole thing anyway. Work, kids, dinner, her medications, her appointment on Thursday, your boss's deadline on Friday. That is the sandwich generation squeeze. And if you are living inside it right now, I want you to hear this clearly. The exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It is a warning. Your body and your mind are sending up flares, and they deserve to be taken seriously. So here are 7 signs that the weight you're carrying is starting to break something, and why asking for help is one of the most loving things you can do. The fog rolls in, emotional exhaustion and cognitive fog. The first sign doesn't come with a dramatic moment. It's quieter than that. It's waking up already tired before the day has asked a single thing of you. You go through your morning routine on autopilot, and somewhere around your second cup of coffee, you realize you can't actually remember the last time you felt rested. Not just slept, truly rested, the kind where you wake up and feel ready. Emotional exhaustion seeps in slowly. It doesn't announce itself. You just notice one day that you haven't laughed at anything real in weeks, that things that used to matter to you feel flat, that you're going through the motions and the motions feel heavier than they used to. Then the fog follows. You walk into a room and forget why you went. You miss a deadline you would have hit without thinking 6 months ago. You're in a meeting and someone asks you a question and your mind just goes blank for a second too long. You cover it, but you noticed. This is sign 2, and it matters to name it correctly. This is not early dementia, and it is not laziness. Your brain is genuinely running 2 full-time jobs at once, managing a household, holding down a career, tracking your mother's medications, monitoring her moods, anticipating her needs before she voices them. That is an enormous cognitive load, and the processor is overheating. The part that worries me most is how normal it starts to feel. You stop expecting to feel sharp because sharp starts to feel like a memory. You quietly lower the bar on yourself without even noticing you've done it, and you just absorb the diminished version of yourself as the new standard. That is the fog winning, and it's a sign worth paying attention to. The body keeps score. Sleep issues and health neglect. Sign 3 lives in the ceiling above your bed at 3 a.m. You're staring at it again, running through her medication schedule, trying to remember if you locked the back door, wondering if that cough she had yesterday means something. Even when you do finally drop off, the sleep is shallow, the kind where you surface at every small noise and you wake up feeling like you were never really gone. Over time, that broken sleep stacks up into a debt your body starts collecting in other ways. Sign 4 is what happens to your own health in the middle of all of this. Your physical got canceled because there was no time, and you haven't rescheduled it. You're eating whatever is fast and available. That ache in your lower back has been there for months, and you've just started ignoring it because addressing it would take time and attention you don't have. The sharpest part of this is the irony. You are working every day to keep her healthy while quietly running your own body into the ground. You keep telling yourself you'll rest later, you'll get to the doctor later, but the caregiving calendar doesn't leave gaps for later. The guilt spiral, resentment and guilt. Sign 5 creeps in on an ordinary Tuesday, not during a crisis, just a regular afternoon. Your mom asks you the same question for the 3rd time in 20 minutes, and something in you snaps. You hear the sharpness in your own voice before you can stop it, and the look on her face lands like a punch. You apologize, you fix it, but you carry that moment around for the rest of the day like a stone in your chest. Resentment is the feeling caregivers aren't supposed to have, so most people never say it out loud. Instead, you push it down and it finds somewhere else to go. It comes out at your spouse over something small. It comes out as impatience with your kids at homework time. It comes out as a cold, tired silence where warmth used to be. You're not an angry person, but you're running on empty, and empty people have no buffer left. Sign 6 follows right behind it, the guilt. A voice that sounds a lot like your own tells you that a good daughter wouldn't have snapped. She would have more patience, more grace, more of whatever it is you feel like you're running out of. You hold yourself to a standard that would break anyone, and then you treat falling short as personal failure. What makes this so hard to escape is that the two feelings feed each other. The resentment triggers the guilt. The guilt creates shame. The shame makes you double down and try harder. The exhaustion from trying harder breeds more resentment. There's no clean exit from that loop on willpower alone. What I want you to hear is this. Feeling resentment doesn't make you ungrateful for her. It doesn't mean you love her less. It means you're a human being who is carrying more than one person should carry without support, and that is a structural problem, not a character flaw. Alone in the crowd, isolation, and the breaking point. Sign 7 happens gradually, and then all at once. You look around one day and notice your friends have stopped calling, not because they stopped caring, but because you said no so many times, to dinners, to birthdays, to that standing coffee date you used to love, that eventually they stopped asking. The invitations just quietly dried up, and you didn't have the bandwidth to chase them down. Caregiving shrinks your world. It pulls tighter around her schedule, her appointments, her good days and bad days, until the life you had outside of it starts to feel like something you used to do. You scroll past photos of people at brunch or at a concert, and there's a specific kind of loneliness in that. Watching from the outside, feeling like everyone else is living in real time while you're stuck somewhere else entirely. And then something breaks the surface. Maybe it's another fall. Maybe it's a voicemail from your kid's school about something you forgot to sign. Maybe it's just a random Wednesday afternoon in a parking lot when the tears come without any warning and you can't quite explain why. You just know you can't keep absorbing this on your own. Here is what I want to say directly to you if you're sitting in that parking lot. Bringing in a caregiver partner is not giving up on her. It is not a handoff to strangers, and it is not the cold institutional arrangement you're picturing when that fear rises up. The right person doesn't show up with a checklist. They show up with presence, with patience, with genuine interest in who she is, not just what she needs. They learn that she takes her tea a certain way. They notice when she seems off before she says anything. They sit with her the way someone sits with a person they actually care about, because that is what this work is supposed to be, a calling, not just a schedule to execute. And what that gives back to you is something you may not have let yourself want yet, the chance to be her daughter again, not her nurse, not her scheduler, not the person who lies awake tracking whether the back door is locked, just her daughter who loves her and can actually be present with her because the weight has somewhere else to go. The call you deserve to make go back to that 2 a.m. moment for a second, the thud, the cold floor, sitting on the edge of her bed in the dark. Now imagine that the next morning you pick up the phone and someone on the other end says, "We can help you carry this." The 7 signs we talked about aren't a diagnosis. They're a signal. They're your mind and body asking for what your mother actually needs from you, not perfection, not a full-time sacrifice, but your presence. You've been running on empty long enough. Call 267-499-4700 or email pa09@synergyhomecare.com for a free consultation. Not because you're giving up on her, but because she raised you to know when it's time to ask for help.